We like making Boko where we can centralize it all in takes. And, you know, sometimes making content about having takes is kind of an exciting prospect. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Memgage the Room, a segment that I pull out of the closet every week.
Marcio, do you hear that? Like a two-wheeled vehicle, like a Segway?
You know, that's the funny
They're banned
thing.
in my country.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you can't use segways.
Real?
I'm so sorry to the Portuguese viewing audience. I didn't know better.
Wait, no,
I will.
No, fuck, I confuse segways with hoverboards.
That's why he can't use segways.
All right, that's the end of the stream. Goodbye, everyone.
Hey, listen, I don't think we've ever had misplay for game fan art, but I'm gonna make a request really quick. Andrew, can I get the me cam?
All right, you got it, Chief.
I want fan art of all of us falling off of a hoverboard, and I want it in my inbox by the time we put another episode out. If I don't watch, I want a picture of like me and Andrew and Marcio on our asses at the bottom of a staircase, Digimon cards everywhere, and a hoverboard. That's all I want.
I went X3 at locals, and all I got was this shitty meme about a hoverboard.
Perfect. Anyway, I did a segue. Y'all want to play memory? Sorry.
It's X4 now. It's X4
Memory.
now.
X4, true.
I'm gonna export you two into the
Who's ready to go
dumpster in a minute.
X4 on getting the correct takes on who the Sussamugus imposter is?
Oh, well, hang on. It's exciting we have Harry. Oh, yeah. Memory Gauge the Room. You're excited to have...
Well, there you go. Someone remix that. There's your
I'm really excited to have Harry here because Harry offered very crisp, very succinct feedback on our last
Andrew,
appearance.
you can't fucking read.
Correct.
So I want to reiterate that we're all here. We're now all playing for the second place role as Jamie Conquest. Shoutouts to Conquest Creations over on. Find him on Etsy.
Conquest Collectibles, but we were close.
Collectibles. Oops, I screwed it up. I should have written it down. I looked it up on my phone before I started the segue and forgot because we made a joke about fan art. Anyway, shoutouts to Jamie for being the champion. But if you've never played Memory Gauge the Room, this is where you, the live viewing audience, has a chance to participate. These folks here, as I click the go button on my little drawing straws robot. Oh, excellent. These three folks are about to receive instructions from me in their DMs. They will be issued these instructions because what they're going to receive next is a statement that they will have to assess as part of the Digimon TCG. So these statements can be things as generic as there are too many Greymons in the Digimon TCG to as kind of like open-ended and like kind of non-time specific as I know what the best deck of the next format will be. And so their idea will be to deceive you, the live viewing audience. If you do not know what we're talking about, essentially what we're doing is two truths and a lie. One of these guys is lying to you, and your job will be to figure out who it is by wagering your channel points.
I lost the fucking house.
I'm very excited for you guys. I've put together some bangers this week. Thanks as always to folks sending us M4G takes. We got the form somewhere. Andrew usually puts them in the descriptions. If you see this on YouTube, fill it out.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I need to compile.
And if this is attached, if this is attached to the YouTube video where Andrew didn't know how the fucking game worked last week, then great. This segues beautifully.
Yeah, I think
mad.
this is week 2 of the compilation ones. So
I'm going to kill past Andrew now. Goodbye.
Oh, that'll be a really vindicating YouTube viewing experience. Is like the comments will be like, "Wow, he just really griefed that game," and then like 5 minutes
the
later,
transition of so Andrew griefed this game.
Yeah, the funniest thing about it is like I catch flack for slightly griefing the game, whilst Orange did get a free pass.
No, because Jamie was instructed to grief the game. No, that was the thing.
Yeah, but no, he was still supposed to lie, not just
to try. Yeah,
his version of lying is to simply never address the question. Like,
well, that's your version of the truth, apparently.
No, I got most of the words correct. There were too many and statements.
Brother, shall we move on to the first prompt before I chokeslam Andrew through a webcam?
No, this is hype. I'm into it.
I'm so mad.
No, Jamie just like made up a new truth. You guys don't get it.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie is God bless that boy. He was so insecure in the lying he was doing. He decided there was an orange color in Digimon. Like he was just so untethered from how to play it out cool.
It was just.
Alas. Memgage the Room is a game where these two folks have all already now received their instructions in their DMs. If you guys triple check to confirm that you know what you're supposed to do.
Are we doing 3.
I've refreshed the bank, baby. We have 9.
Oh no, I meant do
this
we
week.
have 3 thingies for the countdown? Is it 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes was fine.
Okay, cool. Because I realize I need to put this in. I set it up to be on all the scenes, but as a result of doing that, I did not set like a thing to unhide it.
So while you get that ready, I'm going to give you guys the statement ahead of time so that we have the no minor technical difficulties aside. It'll all be nice and smooth. But your guys' statement today are, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their availability. The statement is, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their availability. So, again, just to remind the viewing audience, who will be wagering channel points on this in a moment, one of these 3 folks will be lying about their opinion on that statement.
All right,
So,
I have fixed it. We're ready to go.
My HDMI cable has just exploded, and my monitor is now just showing me the no signal page. So I am blue Harry now.
awesome. Harry. We can still
I'm
see
just
you.
gonna cut the second monitor now. There we go. Unlucky HDMI cable.
Are you ready, Andrew?
Let me just look at Discord, because I'll be honest, I have not been thinking for the past couple of minutes.
I'll give you guys one. Well, how about we start from the bottom this time? How does that sound? Let's mix up the game a little bit.
The biggest hater of Mem Gauge the Room now gets to come in and be the Mem Gauge. Maybe on the other side of the coin, more difficult.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Are you ready for the statement? One more time, H.
Hit me with it one more time, and then I think I'm ready to go.
All right. I have my timer ready to go, so I will let Andrew add his too. But Harry, the statement you will be responding to is, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their availability. So I'm going to count you down. You all set?
3 minutes?
Yep.
No, not just for you.
Oh, 1
sorry.
minute each. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I was like, I don't think I got 3 minutes in me, but I think I got a minute. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
1 sec. Let me just change the Python script then.
I'm ready to go whenever. Let me know when there's a timer visible for people to go, or if we're just going off of you will give me my timer.
Okay, the timer is ready to go.
All right. So I'll count you both in for you to press play, Andrew. You ready?
All right.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
I think promos are acceptably powerful given their availability. It's like I like that they are a incentive to go to like events and stuff. It's like if you think about the O2 like movie promos, the decks in BC16 are like, you get one of each of the DNA goobers, but the promos are like they complete the set of them. So it's like Armadillomon and Hawkmon are both searchers, and then Patamon is like an additional searcher, while Gotsumon is like an additional keyword that archetype gains access to. Whereas like the Wormmon and Veemon is like Wormmon is another searcher for the archetype. The Veemon is like a card that enables multiple archetypes while being like a powerful tool, and like it's an incentive to go to a locals, which I think is like a really good reason to make these promo cards like strong things that you have to go to things to get them. It turns out I had 45 seconds worth of dialogue. That's kind of it.
No, thanks for that. That was Harry responding to the statement, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their availability. Marcio, you ready to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, one more time. The statement you are responding to is, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their availability. I'm going to count you in. So we're going 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't think promos are acceptably powerful, considering that like some of them you can only get through either entering events, which some people don't have a locals to go to, but they're willing to travel to events, or box toppers, which means that if you don't have the capital to invest into a whole box, you can't get a promo. And then it's not that you even get a whole playset of the promo. So some promos you only need a couple copies, but some promos you need a full playset, which makes it really difficult for the average person to be able to get to them. And there are some like real stinkers. Like off the top of my head, for example, the promo Quagamon is kind of gatekeeping a lot of upcoming like green players, and they have to find workarounds because this card is just really expensive because it's just a card that is not very accessible. And this isn't the first thing. Raremon is another example. It could be an anomaly, but I prefer when promos are just alt arts, and I would rather cards have more alt arts than in new cards.
Perfect. That's your time. This is going great. Great work on the timer, Andrew.
Yeah, it turns out that OBS has a built-in Python script that they never tell you about.
The fun of putting the show on live. Of course, Andrew will also be responding to the statement, promo cards are acceptably powerful given their accessibility. Andrew, you ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I think the promo cards on the whole are pretty good in terms of how accessible they are and like how powerful they are. The problem is that they're not fully consistent on how you get them. Like Marcio said, with some of them being box toppers but being essential parts of an archetype is kind of heinous, where you do get some promo cards that it's just like show up to your locals. Like the security rookies also being late doesn't help with, like, they are strong cards, but the time that we get them, sometimes they're a bit undertuned or underwhelming. I think if they're smart about how they do their promos, they could actually kind of just fix this by making some of the strong cards your go to locals cards and some of them just be your thing. I think the trainings was a great example of a strong card that is like, you get one of each, but that's not enough for a thing. It encourages trading, but I think it shows that like strong cards being less readily available or you have to go out of your way to get it is like a good power balance for please buy product from Bandai.
That's your time. Perfect. So now this is over to you, the live viewing audience. We have 3 folks who have expressed their opinion on the statement. Promo cards are acceptably powerful given their accessibility. It's now up to you to figure out which one of these guys was talking out of their asses, because somebody was lying. I think this is a hot topic because, you know, like Marcio and Andrew and Harry all said, like, it is frustrating to have some things be kind of like left out of access to players. But on the same hand, it's cool that folks show up to events and shows up to locals. So where do you think we're going on this one? I would love to hear the predictions because somebody was yapping, somebody was capping.
All right. Yeah, then coolio. We'll put that. You know what? I started it late, so we'll just make it a shortbread for this one.
Perfect. I think that was an interesting one. You guys seem to have kind of. I like it.
That was a good take from. Do we have the people who submitted like each one, or is it like fully anonymous?
We are out of ones that are either submitted but are not like too specific for something like this. Like people have been sending
like I meant like who submitted that take to you.
That was me. I wrote that one.
Oh, you wrote that one. Okay.
There are a lot of ones here today. There are a lot of ones here today that were just things that I had been set on trying to work out how we would word them. I have others in the backlog from folks who were very kind and submitted them, but they were either a little too specific and I wanted to wait for a more appropriate week to use them, or maybe a little too like narrow cast in terms of an audience. But we'll see how we go.
It was one of those interesting ones. I think we did put on the form, like you can credit yourself if we want to use them. I think especially the takes one does. I think the clips one is also just so if I see you betting in chat and I know you submitted the clip, I'll find you.
Yeah, we want to make sure. Perfect.
All right. How are we looking on the thing? I think it's done. All right. Yes, we do have the results.
Andrew, would you like to share the results?
Okay. This one is a full-on double down. People all think that it was our guest, Mr. DHM.
Yeah, I was lying through my fucking teeth. Promos are miserable, dude. Like, this shit is so dicks. What the fuck? Why is Raremon 40 fucking Great British pounds just so I can get the next purple generic draw engine? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, the thing Andrew was saying is right, or Marcy was saying this one as well. It's like, when I go to locals, I want to open a pack and it's like, oh, Pomumon, but he looks kind of silly now and a little doofy. This was my reward for hanging out. Not, oh, I like purchased a box of product to Gamba a 1-in-4 to get the promo on the top of the pack that's not fucking dog shit. It's like, yeah, man, I opened a box of EX5 and my box topper promo was Prism Garret or whatever the hunter's option was, not Raremon. So now I'm like down fucking 35 pounds because I opened the bad box topper promo. Like,
it's also that they're not consistent.
I tried to avoid them. Yeah, I tried to avoid it when I was trying to lie because like there's zero shot I could ever talk about box topper promos without losing my goddamn mind. Box topper promos that are like, here's a foil Tama, or like the memory boost alt arts we got from BC7's box toppers. Godlike, perfect box topper. I bought my box. I got Sunomon eating an ice cream. Peak. Kino.
I also just like the full art tamers.
Yeah, those are sick. Like, those are good box toppers. Then it's like, you know what's a dog shit box topper? A must-have engine requirement.
I think if they were... you go ahead, Marcio.
Oh, they're not even consistent with, like, the power level because, like, okay, so for a long time we just had like there were a couple of promos that were pretty okay. Like for example, one of the early good ones was like the Garuru pieces. Those were pretty good. I think those were like the first set of promos that were like, oh, this card shapes. Well, technically it got better a little bit later on. I think like one of the first really good ones was like promo Pulsemon and like the Oguni and the Lobo. Those are really good. You know, like the
I
Demi
actually have
Demi,
personal experience
were
being
pretty good.
Yeah, I was just saying that's the card I was actually going to say. I maybe could have brought this up and twisted the story, but like I actually have a personal frustration with the promo card because like Tsunorizamon was just like the rookie you had to play with Gora because it was like the thing that wasn't Dorumon that sucked. And it was like Sec +1, perfect.
If you didn't have the ancient stuff for like the original like ancient Garurumon Gabumon things too, like that was a layer of it.
It was inaccessible.
Yeah.
It's also then like we then had like some in BT9 we got like the most like important ones, which were the Sagittarius, the Alterus, Akua, even like Wizard. And then there was like we had some duds, some okay. And then we got like probably the most game altering promo of all time in my opinion, which was Ukomon.
I'm gonna have to cut you off here. So sorry, buddy. It might be on the questionnaire for the day.
My bad.
I will say though, if we got better promo cards as tournament kit stuff, like I'm happy to have alt arts, and now that we're getting real alt arts that aren't just like EP5 is we took the background and made it the color of the card. I think if we just, you know, maybe instead of getting 3 waves of security rookies, we could have maybe gotten like promo good card, and then box stopper shit can go back to being meaningless alt arts.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to do this literally after all of them. Andrew, thank you for answering the question.
I'll be honest, I was like...
You answered the question. You said that you thought that it was frustrating, like, that they are an acceptable power level for the ones that are nice alt arts. That was answering the question.
Mentally, I had, like, the pie chart of, like, how much of what I'm saying is answering the question. I was just trying to make sure that thing was as close to 50-50 as possible, because, like, none of this was what I was...
That was 60%. You 60% answered the question. I could walk away from that and go, Andrew likes that you can get alt arts from going to your local scene and supporting the game. Andrew dislikes that sometimes they're game determinative cards. That was a take I got from you, not, I don't know, man, structure decks.
I still maintain my first one was
question.
Next question.
Our next statement is going to be read out right now because these guys have already been DM'd their instructions. Check your DMs. The statement reads as follows. In the Digimon TCG, you could expect a new player to have a serious chance at beating a veteran. One more time. The statement is, in the Digimon TCG, you could expect a new player to have a serious chance at beating a veteran.
I can go first on this one.
Sure thing. All right, you guys ready? I'll count you in.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Andrew. 3, 2,
Shit,
1.
No, I'm not. Apparently, I've lost access to my keyboard. Never mind. Okay, yeah, we're ready.
I'm going to try to fight my HDMI cable while Andrew goes then.
3, 2, 1, go.
So the card game currently has 50 cards in it, and sometimes, even after this gracious mulligan they've added in, you will just draw dog shit 2 times in a row and simply be unable to play the game, and it's on the new player to not throw from orbit. As we have seen, sometimes the Call of the Void is too much for a new player, but they are printing some real powerful cards, and a lot of them right now, aces, which don't cost much to slam. So if your opponent has bricked out of the ass, the veteran, sometimes they do just draw nothing, and you can slam a level 5 because you've also drawn nothing, but your nothing costs slightly less than their nothing, and therefore can tempo swing the game. Sometimes also, you just make all the right decisions and hit the first check in security and lose. Not saying it happened to me twice this week, but it happened to me twice this week. But yeah, we're printing better cards, we're making them more accessible, and at the end of the day, sometimes security is terrible, and drawing for turn does not fix the problem.
That's your time. Perfect. Next up, we'll have Marcio going ahead. He'll be responding to the statement, in the Digimon TCG, you could expect a new player to have a serious chance at beating a veteran. Marcio, your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
There is just no way I would ever lose to a new player. It just does not happen. It's not like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, you know, like you play on turn 0. Okay, I will open up an exception. If the new player comes to a new locals and wants to make some friends, play Secon, then that player will not make any friends, and that's how they'll beat me, because I tend to play decks that just auto-lose to that style of deck. But over the course of 3 games, I might lose one of the games at worst, but Digimon is the kind of game where a new player just cannot contextualize how much memory the opponent needs to do some actions. So there will be a couple of turns where they'll either pass me too much memory or they won't know what my deck fully does, and they can't sort of like quantify how much memory they should not pass me. And those kinds of mistakes get super punished. Also, it could be a case of if they're the one pushing the envelope, they swing into my security and something pops out, then they just lose the game.
That's your time. Perfect. And once again, Marcio was responding to this statement. In the Digimon TCG, you could expect a new player to have a serious chance at being a veteran. That's the statement Harry's going to respond to in a second. You ready to go?
Yep. I have
Right.
a fucking story for this one.
3, 2, 1, go.
I don't remember which regional it fucking was, but it was the one where I was playing Crossheart. And I sit down, and the dude across from me is like, oh yeah, I'm here because my friend wanted me to get Digimon at like prize support for entering, so I just have 50 Imperial cards that are his. And I fucking died. Like, he just resolved cards. I was like staring at my hand of, like Andrew said, all the fucking tamers in the universe, because it was Crossheart, but none of the guys to go with it. So I just got fucking Paildramon to death and had to look at it like, what the fuck happened to me? And then the follow-up, of course, is I swing with finally found a robot. Oh, yippee! Fucking Megadeth! I don't know, like, I would like to think you can usually beat it, but like there's a non-zero chance that like a new player can just either win off of the fact of like if you're playing an aggressive deck into a deck that requires finding its pieces, you can just get smoked before you find your pieces, or lol security because new players will build decks in silly ways and 4 Megadeths, 4 Gigadeath, and it's like, oh my god, I died into the moon.
That's your time. So, to our live viewing audience, these 3 folks have just responded to the statement. In the Digimon TCG, you could expect a new player to have a serious chance at beating a veteran. This is where your little detective sleuthing comes in. We need you to kind of suss out who just told you not exactly their honest opinion.
Does that one have a source on the take?
That one does not either.
Okay. That one also you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been cooking this week.
That's good.
It's okay. The YouTube video hopefully will get people to actually fill out the form that will be in the pinned comments, so that way we don't have to do it.
Please make them simple, yes, no style questions, because it means it's easier for someone to genuinely formulate. No, okay, you know what I mean.
I will say,
Andrew, me, and Marcio just gave you, yes, a new player can win. No, a new player can't win. Yes, a new player can win. So it's like really easy.
Unless
I can retrofit them a little bit. If I change anybody's statement, I will still credit them 100%. If they give me the idea, that's where I pull it from. But like overall, as long as people can get it to me in a comprehensible way, where like even if I have to Google Translate your your submission, I will do so and preserve the syntax. Just get your takes over. We need M4G takes. You know where to look. It's in the Discord. It's in the description. Y'all figure it out. Yeah.
On-screen timer was a good idea. Thank you, Beck.
Yeah, actually huge. I mean, maybe I've made the timer too big, but
I kind of like it.
Subtlety is.
I can look at. It means I can look at the screen and see where the timer's up to.
Yeah.
Anyway, who was the yapper?
We're still getting some people voting.
It was an interesting one because it was one of those ones where even if you go yes, no, yes, like you could just be you could be really, really like just like head ass about it. Just like, no, I genuinely do believe X or Y.
Yeah.
But yeah. And like you could have the OS that maybe bricking doesn't count as losing to a new player. It just doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
You showed up and you donated 3 points. You didn't lose to them. You lost to the deck.
I also think it's interesting because there's a lot of questions about like, is there any skill expression in a card game versus other competitive mediums? This is something I've seen some folks at our locals talking about, and I was like, I think I can think of an inflammatory way to describe this kind of.
Yeah, I had a take for you that I did not remember. Yeah, inflammatory is great.
I aim to displease.
All right, so this one again, the results are locked in. This one's 100 double dip, and it is on the contrarian. Were you capping?
I was telling the truth.
We got an honest.
If you're a new player, you're not taking a game off of me, unless you're playing like Security Bomb Turbo.
That's
I
Marcio.
genuinely believe that, like, sure, sometimes it's just like, you know, a matchup can happen or whatever, but a new player just, if it's also because like there are so many decks that like I could be playing my pet deck and you could be playing an on paper stronger deck than mine, but if you don't know what my pet deck does, and I know what your deck does, I know exactly how much memory I can pass you. For example, that's just like on the surface level.
Hmm. Do we want to have the liar let himself be made available here? Who got away with this one this round, folks? Ooh,
I'd like to thank Vic for reminding me that I have to be passionate when I want to look like I'm telling the truth. Yeah, no, Marcio's right. Like, if you know how the Imperial story, I added a fucking lie to that Imperial story. I lost a game, but like Marcio said, he took a game off me, and I was like, okay, he's playing Imperial just on board. I'm just gonna clear him.
I knew you were lying because I remember that story, and I was like,
yeah, I was like, I died to Veemon, and then went, okay, I'm just and then I stuck everything in front of him. The Trix brought up a good point though. It's like he mentioned, where was it? Isn't lying did the same thing with me week 2 of attending Fanboy and at the store champs. So the thing there is, like, at the store champs, you were no longer a new player. You smoked the shit out of me. Like you just beat me. It was an unlucky situation for me, but you did just beat me.
Wait, what?
And then the store champs thing. Yeah. But then like the new player thing, it's like I'm leaning very heavily into this question about the has a serious chance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think bricking is a serious chance.
Yeah.
I don't think if you're like, they won't draw one of their 12 rookies 2 games in a row and then I win. It's like, bro, the odds on that are astronomical.
See, what's interesting for me is like,
sorry, Trix.
I would now consider myself an experienced player, but when I was still relatively new, I think maybe week 2 or week 3 of attending Fanboy locals, I beat Marcio because he bricked.
What deck was you on?
You were on Grandis and I was on Armour. Not only did
Armour
Purge...
has a good matchup into... Armour has always had a good matchup into Grandis.
Okay, but I didn't know that. I just got lucky on one of, I think maybe
You
like...
got lucky. You played it well.
I played game 1 well, I got smoked game 2, and game 3 you didn't find promo grand, so I won. Like,
for debate.
like, it's...
I had played that matchup with Saf, and that matchup is so fucking annoying because, like, you have Purge, so I don't get piercing. And I can put you sideways, but the deck still played like security bombs. That matchup was just a Armour favorite matchup.
That's fair, but it was one of those like, oh, it's like week 2, and I played defending store champ, and I won because he notably did not see the 6 that he needed to smoke me.
I wasn't store champ at that point.
No, you were the most recent one.
You played me in BT9.
Yeah, I saw you had a store champ.
No, we didn't have the.
I won in BT10.
It was BT10 was when me and Marcio tried to do it with me and Marcio took our BT9 decks to a BT10 store champ. That's why it was the store champ where Marcio sandbagged for me because the second one he played Melga and just bricked consecutively, so I didn't have to interact.
No, I didn't brick. I got paired into Jessmon round 1.
Oh yeah, that was it.
I got paired into
skills paying the bills.
No, I think I got paired into Trix round 1, and I was like, oh, my deck just could not produce an out.
You cannot produce the out to it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also every time I beat Saphis, because he just sees a handful of 7 Magnumons, I go, excellent.
I mean,
outskilled.
Yeah, but like the actual answer to the question though, it's like I believe that like as a real like high level player in a best of 3, you should be able to adapt and overcome to a bad matchup. Like,
yeah, I agree.
And like bad matchup, and also I think Marcio said it's like if you know what your opponent can do with the memory gauge, like, and you actually know how their archetype works better than them, then you really can dictate the flow of the game perfectly. Like if you just, the number of times where players will like, if I had one more, and then it's just like the nodding in my
every single time. If only
if I had one more memory, and it's like me staring at the 2-cost option and the 3-cost option in my hand, I chose between and went, yeah, I'd like the 3-cost option more, but the 2-cost option stops me from fucking dying.
Yeah. No, it was one of those, like, I could agree with my, like, yeah, sometimes you just double brick or see dog shit in security, but like, as I'm starting to lean towards, not the new player and more the experienced player, like, yeah, it's come to the point where I never sit down and go, yeah, I could lose to this person. Even when they really flip their first egg.
A really bad situation has to happen. And then that comes back to my mind of like, that's not a serious, like, yes, if I played someone, my first security and last security could both be my Congos, and then an aggro deck will never beat me. Or like, my bottom 2 securities could be Congos, and then aggro will never beat me. But like, that's not serious.
It's because Digimon is so matchup dependent. I still remember vividly. This was like when Balfi just like started first showing up. Like, bro had his like Imperial deck. He pulled like something crazy. Tom gave him like a bunch of money for the card. I don't remember what it was. Was it? What did he pull?
So I pulled two
Crimson
alt
mode?
I pulled 2 alt Crimson modes that night, and then Balfi pulled a third.
Yeah, and then like he basically used that to fund like
Yeah,
Machine.
and
subsequent decks.
he gave me a good deal too. Bless
He
him.
played, I think it was like in BT9, and he played like D Brigade, and he got paired into Harry, and I had finished my game. So Balfi like starts
Oh
playing.
yeah, this discussion.
He played like a couple rookies, and he chipped Alpha Security, and then
UG Cool Boy Mem Boost.
stuff popped out, and then he was like, I lost to Alpha, nothing I could have done there. And then me and Harry were like, why did you chip Alphamon Security? You're playing D Brigade.
Just set up 5 attacks. Set up 6 damage.
Set up 6 damage. And it's just like, well, if people, for example, okay, Alphamon is a very like, you know,
You gotta know that.
It's the explosive one.
It's like you get
Same with Red Hybrid, right? Like if you know that, that's the one lesson
Yeah,
you
if you
learn.
chip Red Hybrid and double Takuya pops out, it's like, or the funny where it's like Takuya and then like the Aldemon with the Inherit, like Warp Takuya and then an Aldemon BT7 pops out. That's the fuckers one. It's like when people don't realize if like a Digimon popping out of security.
Yeah,
like the one me, Marshall, and Emily always joke about is like if Oriumon is in security and like if someone knows how. Yeah, first check Oryu, and like then if someone knows how good like how Alphamon works, because if they don't comment on first check Oryu, then it's like, okay, it's time for a free sword.
Yeah. Now, Atomic Inferno with 2 rookies on board is my least favorite one. It's like the something that lived and didn't float, and then Atomic's like, oh, I'm dead. Like Lethal has magically appeared out of nowhere.
They should make a show about guessing whether or not a situation results in lethal or a living. Anyways.
You've all been sent your instructions for our 3rd round of Memgage the Room. Got kind of a heady one today. This is the one we sort of discussed. I'm worried that you 3 will suss each other out, but the live audience probably won't. This is one we've been discussing at locals a little bit.
I've never been sus.
Ever been sus?
Mogus?
Not once. But Andrew, whenever you're ready, I can switch this over.
All right.
Cool. Our 3rd prompt for Memgage the Room this week is card effects that later become keywords, thinking BT15 Modimon's Bug Blitz and Vortex, are underutilized in the TCG, and that there are others that would be good fits. So one more time, it's a long one, but there's a lot of meat on that bone. Card effects that later become keywords, like BT15 Modimon's Bug Blitz and Vortex, are underutilized in the TCG, and that there are others that would be good fits. This is a big one, so I'll vamp for you guys for a second, let you guys can have a chance to think about this. Some of the others that you guys might have seen as a viewing audience, things like Evade kind of came out of a similar effect, where it's like you can kind of essentially pay a cost to ignore a deletion. Scapegoat and Decoy, sort of similar things. Scapegoat has existed in places of other things dying for them. So there's a lot of interesting card space and a lot of like, people like to talk about like Blue Flare stun, but we've never had a stun mechanic. So there's lots of things we can look at. Are you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. How about we get started with Andrew? We go back to the way things are meant to work around here.
Why'd you fucking throw me under the bus for the first one, by the way?
Because the transition would go crazy. It's like, bro, you guys were dog shit at this game. Plays immediately like, hey, yo, this shit kind of hard.
Yeah.
However, you stepped up to the plate and it was fine.
Yeah.
So Andrew,
I get sussed out immediately, to be fair. Either way.
Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I think the problem is with keywords is if sometimes right now they're a little bit obtuse because like they get printed on when they're first shown, and then after that you're just expected to know what the keyword does. I think that gets even more confusing if you don't have like the backstory. Like Bug Blitz is great, but you have to know what Motimon did and then also know what Blitz is. And I think they're just like more keyword. If they continue to only print a keyword for one like release of a card, then after that it's just like, hey, I hope you know what this keyword does. I think that makes Digimon a little bit less accessible, and I don't think that the more complicated keywords should be just sprinkled in off of like, hey, we ran it with this like set of cards, especially once they become more generic. Like Vortex is like currently in one archetype, but stuff like Fortitude and like Leomon's like respawning and cycling off of like Leomon X is like mostly linked to an archetype where you can at least call back to it.
That's your time.
So that is can I just get a yes no at the end of that really quick? Sorry, that is a you don't think it should be used more, or you think it should be used more? Like more things.
He's out of time, guy.
Yeah, I'm out of time,
I
bro.
just
Like,
wanted a distinct yes or no answer from this.
Right,
Hey,
you
buddy,
see
he's
that?
out
It's
of
right
time.
there.
I'm gonna pull in on
that's
my
crazy.
judge check really quick.
Sure.
The show host says if I speak, I'm in trouble.
Tommy Tricks, when
If I speak,
me when Seadramon has a full text box to just say raid retaliate and does not describe what either of them means. Yeah,
that's kinda
Saberdramon do be
funny.
like that. Next up, of course, we've got Marcio. Marcio, are you ready to respond to the statement? Card effects that later become keywords, like BT15 Modimon's Bug Blitz and Vortex, are underutilized in the TCG, and there are others that would be good fits.
Okay.
All right, cool. So timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't think they are underutilized because I like the fact that they go through sort of like an experimentation phase. So, for example, like you said, a Modimon, it first started off with pushing a concept to just a type of Digimon, so just insects being able to do that, and then later converting that into, okay, this is now a keyword, and then we can design things around the keyword. My issue is that there are some play styles that had already been existing that I don't think would convert well into specific keywords. Say, for example, playing from sources, because then you need a play from source keyword, and then you need to then label that as what it can play from the source, and then it would just add a lot of unnecessary like keywords to a card, and then we're just starting to Magic the Gathering where it's just keywords, and we'll get to, say, for example, the Saberdramon, where it's just a Digimon with 2 keywords and it doesn't explain what the keywords do, and then just wasted text. And I like having text on my cards as well.
Perfect. That's your time. Harry, you are now up. You will be responding to the statement, card effects that later become keywords, like BT15 Modimon's Bug Blitz and Vortex, are underutilized in the TCG, and there are others that would be good fits.
Yep.
Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
So I actually want to approach this from a different point of view. Obviously, just having things be blocks of keywords is frustrating, but the actual advantage it then has is the documentation on keywords, not having to look up how a specific card's effect interacts with something, and instead being able to look up how the keyword interacts with something. So like one of the main frustrations is like defensive timing in Digimon, because like, you know, some things are blockers, some things are redirecting, some things are blast evolving. Making redirection, as an example, into a keyword, it's like when an opponent's Digimon attacks, keyword redirect into keyword targets, like redirect this Digimon, or like Cherrymon's case, redirect suspended Digimon. So it's like stuff like that would make it a lot easier to like look up the rulings for, because it's like, oh, these cards function in a similar fashion. Obviously, the thing Marcio mentioned about like Digimon just being like, I have 3 keywords, answer me these riddles 3s of what they do, otherwise you can't do it. Don't get to know what it does. But I think that's just like a promo cards versus structure deck cards. Structure deck cards could have their keywords explained. Promo cards probably don't need it as much.
That's your time. So, chat, that was a bit of a heady one, but I think the 3 of them took it pretty well. One of them, though, talking out of their ass, not telling you exactly what they had in a serious, genuine way. Some genuine discussion points there about like complexity in a card game. Is it interesting for things to be overloaded with keywords? Is it just not actually helpful for new players? Or is standardization the way that you make it helpful for new players? Lots of things to think about. But as is the case when you play a game of MMGage the Room, somebody was pulling the wool over your eyes. So I've seen a couple of folks over in YouTube, but want to make sure that you're aware. You can go over to twitch.tv/KnTElixar. You can wager channel points that you get. You get a bunch of them for clicking the follow button. That helps out a lot, helps the channel. And if you do that, you can wager those channel points on probably a good gut feeling that one of them was telling you a lie. Because, you know, you've played the Digimon TCG for watching this. Chances are you've seen some stuff. You've probably seen enough keyword soup to have a take on it. But that's our prediction time.
Yeah.
Andrew, what have we got?
All right, so I can tell you. Also, I considered making it like a MemGage the Room like specific overlay like we have for Lethal or Living, and like I guess pull back the wool a bit. Like I've got like F1, 2, 3, 4 for like the opening, and then Shift for each of those for like each host for that, and that's what I'm using. I was gonna make one and then put it on Alt. The problem is I would just kill the stream every time we cut to the guest.
Alt F4.
I would just be Alt F4ing and going, fuck. So that's why we
Bro,
don't have a
if
special
I try
one.
to speak, if I try to speak, that is the right button to press.
All right, we do
What-
have 100%. Like everyone's been all in. Chat is the hive mind, and it's believing that I am the Capiteur.
Are they right, Andrew?
Yeah, they would absolutely be right. I have a whole article on like Digimon slang, and I'm a big fan of like keywords and shit like that. Like I've got a whole ass thing of like, why speak the written words in the card game when you can just come up with single word things that explain an effect? New players be damned.
Well, I think a lot of people like narrating the effects on their card, which is like not a pet peeve of mine.
No,
but
you
like,
have to finish the rest of the sentence speaking like Russ Marrow. Go on.
yeah, it's like when Digivolving, I will place one Digimon with the X antibody, a trait in my stack. Doraemon will give me one memory. Fun fact: according to the rules of Digimon, Doraemon will actually be able to see his own effects, so he will be able to gain one memory here. And now,
I thought the cutscene was unskippable. How are we going faster?
well, no, because he's doing like a little highlight, and then it's like Alphamon, the knight that is the opposite of the Omega, the fucking Black Air Force, ODK machine, and it's just like, you know, like I get it. You want to narrate, you want to roleplay, I get it.
Oh, I also want to add 1 point to mine because
I want to get out.
I was telling obviously I was telling the truth. I think keywords are fun. I also this was a part that I missed that I actually think is fun. I think Digimon's keywords are fucking adorable.
Yeah, the flavor's
like
good.
I think the fact that Digimon's like, you know, jamming is the dog with the gun who doesn't like.
I remember I made that joke, and then for the fucking life of me, I couldn't remember it.
Digimon's keywords are fucking adorable.
By the way,
like
if we
your
ever
guy
get...
unsuspend, your guy be like, your guy's able to block on your opponent's turn because he becomes reactive. What did they call that shit? Homie reboots. That's so cute.
If we ever get Rust Marrow on this show, guys, I would lose my mind. That would be
bro. If we get Rust Marrow on the show, you can't like. Obviously, you only get one guest. Thank God. I would just be talking like a Rust Marrow video the entire time he was around. I love that guy.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, we don't get.
I think he just reads the Digimon's titles off of like the wiki.
Yeah,
like almost all of them have them.
Like, I think he's just a real ass Digimon fan, and he does a lot of great translation. If somebody if by the power of God you can get this clip in front of Rust Marrow, we would love to have you on the show.
Love you, Rust Marrow.
Holy shit, that would be so
Thank you
tight.
for making out. Thank you for having
I have like
bad matchups in the BT13 Cup, so it could show that you can just Congo Shine Greymon 3 times. Love you.
I would have like 1,000 questions to ask the dude about all his translation work, so that would be very high.
Oh yeah, that too. He's also just like the translation work he does for the scene is fucking unbelievable.
Sometimes it's better than the official translation team because Rust Marrow has never needed to have his posts errated.
True. Anyways, yeah, keywords are fun because like looking up, like actually getting to look up interactions. Like I hate having to be like, how does BT15003 interact with BT14 fucking 065? And it's like, or I could just go, how does a Digimon with Raid interact in this instance? Like you can just go to the comprehensive ruling page for Raid.
Given where we're at, fellas, I think we'll call Memgage the room here at 3 rounds. Thank you all for playing.
No bonus 4th round?
Well, I was thinking about maybe doing like a thing like Andrew did where I like have another YouTube video queued up or something like that. But we'll get to that later.
You just gotta one.
Yeah, that would be very fun. Maybe it's something
once a week. We just get one.
Alt arts are kind of mid.
Remember what I was saying this week about? By the way, sorry.
4 rounds this way.
By the way, sorry. Just so taken aback by Ogerpon's alt arts being mid. Dear God, that was painful to me to hear.
They're not as good as they could be.
No, they're peak. That's insane.
Oomphy is too far from frame.
Save it
closer.
Just save it for the funny episode. That's all I'll tell you.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for playing Memgage, boys. It's always fun. I hope the YouTube audience remembers that if you check the description, you can find M4G Takes, the page we use for people to send me stuff. I want to hear your hot takes about the Digimon TCG. Or, like, something we had a question about the other week is that it's not necessarily the card game, but, like, it could be just sort of facets of the experience of playing the Digimon TCG. This week, for example, Bandai announced that hand shuffling is officially BM as hell. And
That's awesome.
Rules, bro. If Marcio is my round 6, I am gonna go.
It's on the phone. Boys, it's on the phone.
I don't care.
So we can't talk about it.
You don't. I don't care. Sounds like broken here. I can hand shuffle, and you can, and you're mad.
Anyway, I'll have to
like
bust.
a free round 6 to me.
You are free.
I'll have to bust out that one for like 3 months down the line when we've all forgotten about the discourse. But that's
Yeah.
where we're at. So if you've got anything like that, you know, I hate when people have cloth playmats like that. It could be anything.
Why am I being targeted?
I don't know. Get over it. Anyway, the point is,
I
you can
made it.
send them
I have a
across.
nice job now. I'm allowed to have nice accessories and hand shuffle my cards. God forbid men do anything.
Uh-oh, we just left the stream. We're on a different kind of podcast now. But yeah, thanks for playing, boys. Appreciate y'all.
What's next? We're going to hit on acrylic mem gauge markers?
Speaking of,
No fan art allowed.
Trix, I don't think you want him to be doing this cooking.
What? I'm not allowed metal dice?
Oh wait, we're plugging Jamie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Plug Jamie.
Hey,
Friend of-
no, we're not plugging Jamie.
Friend
Pause.
of-
bro, if Jamie wanted me to, I would. That's my guy.
Friend of the show, Jamie Conquest, has some stuff you can buy. Do that. Buy his stuff.
You should be able to ask you judge any tops as a form of appeal.
I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I like if I wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I have like a brainwave.
Hang on, I gotta gift a sub to the guy who just said that.
Sometimes I have these thoughts
You
where
titled
it's
it
like
Conquest Collectibles and not Conquestables? Come on.
Hey, yeah, Conquestables would have been good actually.
better
Yeah.
search term.
There
Better
you
search
go.
term.
Yeah,
Can you
more
imagine
search.
how many times people will spell conquestable wrong?
Thank you for that one. And any tops is an appeal.
Listen, here's the other thing, is that like sometimes I do wake up in the cold sweat in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my god, is the statement, is any tops is a funny joke, a bit from M-Gage? Like, there's the bar is so low. So do send your takes in, and then of course, send in your clips too. We could do with those. Y'all know where to look. They live in the places that you look for things.